All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Attack. I am on Bronzebeard. I play a tank paladin. I'm basically full heroic geared, run probably 100 plus dungeons of heroic, and I'm going to tell you about specs, mystic enchants, totems, gear, and stuff like that. However, I want you guys to know that Shaman tank is new, and I don't think anyone has it perfectly min-maxed. There's people who are way better than me that were in the alpha and beta that were doing Mythic Plus dungeons and stuff like that. Um, and so they may have more information, but this is more. I got a lot of my information from them, and this is more consolidated for everybody who's asking basically how to play Tank Shaman. I will say that not everything I say will be perfect. There's going to be some mistakes. There's going to be people who disagree. This is how I've played my tank shaman, and I'm fully heroic geared, running dungeons, no problem. Um, so yeah, let's get started. Hopefully there'll be some timestamps down below so you guys can skip if you want talents, mystic enchants, totems, gear, or whatever. But yep, let's get started. Okay, let's talk about talents. Um, Totemic Bond is the first one we're going to be getting. Using Stoneclaw Totem while Earthen Guardian is active has a 100% chance to reduce all damage taken by 20 for 6 seconds. Stoneclaw Totem early on is our main use of mitigation until you get some later on. Um, and it also gives some of our threat from our totems to us. And we get Earth's Grasp to basically reduce the cooldown of our Stoneclaw totem. You do not need enhancing totems until later, and we'll talk about that. I can probably give up Earth's Grasp now, but that's another story. Thundering Strikes next, 5 points. Um, Criticals with all spells and attacks. Pretty self-explanatory. You don't need to get Lava Lash immediately if you don't want to, but you will need it, I think, at 30 whenever we get the Lava Sweep Mythic Enchant. You'll go 3 of 3 Anticipation for dodge and reduction and disarm effects, and then Shamanistic Focus, which reduces all our shock damage from or all the mana from our shocks. We're going to go Toughness for stamina, reduction in slowing damage, 5 of 5. We are going to go 3 of 3 Earthen Attunement next, reduces our damage taken. Mental Dexterity increases the attack power by our intellect. Our main stats are going to be stamina, agility, and intellect, so it all adds up. You can get Wind Fury now, or you can wait till later. It's up to you. But you will end up getting this, especially for heroic dungeons. Weapon Mastery, pretty self-explanatory, gives you extra bonus weapon damage. Um, Unleashed Rage, another pretty self-explanatory one, um, gets you more attack power and gives it to the entire raid plus expertise. If you don't want to use Wind Fury early on, you can put those 2 points into Frozen Power. I like to do that because sometimes I would do BGs leveling up. It gives your Frost Shock a 50 or 100% chance with 2 points to root the target if it's greater than 15 yards away, plus increases the damage of anybody that's affected by your Frostbrand attack. So I did use that until I hit 60. The only bad part about this talent is if you're pulling dungeons with it, and sometimes you don't want to root your target, but I pull a lot with my shocks, so you'll probably either need to switch your shocks when you're pulling, or yeah, not use this talent. It's up to you. Shield specialization. Increases your armor value by your shield by 30%. Reduce the chances that you're going to get crit. Pretty self-explanatory there. Here's where it starts getting fun because you get Spirit Guard. You gain block rating equal to your agility. Uh, and that is important because now we do need enhancing totems because we are going to stack the heck out of agility items. All the agility gives us block rating. If you just getting to this point, you probably have about 5 block percent chance on your character. But once you get this and stack agility, you're looking at 30, and then it only gets better from there. 30, 40, 50, 60, plus your enhancing totems. You're going to be setting at like 70% chance to block at later levels. Very important talent. You gotta have Spirit Guard. Next up, Shamanistic Rage. This is basically one of our main cooldowns for tanking. It reduces the damage you take by 30%, and it also gives you mana back from your attacks, so super important. Mental Quickness reduces the mana cost of your instant shaman spells by 6%, self-explanatory. It increases your spell power by 25% of your attack power. Agility also increases your attack power, so it all starts to add up. Intellect is increasing your attack power. Agility is increasing your attack power. Your spell power is now increased by your attack power. It snowballs, right? Maelstrom weapon next up. When you deal damage with a melee weapon, you have a chance to enter a higher a chance to decrease the cast time of your chain heal, lightning bolt, chain lightning, whatever you want to cast. For me, I typically basically what this does is at 5 stacks, it gives you an instant cast spell. So you can use that instant cast spell for lightning bolt, chain lightning, chain heal, healing wave, or hex. It basically instantly at any time. I tend to find that I use the healing wave the most, only because I'm kind of lazy and the threat isn't really an issue. So I kind of just save it for oh shit moments. But a lot of people use it for extra threat or extra damage, and in that case, if it's a single target, you can use lightning bolt, or if it's multi-target, you can use chain lightning, whatever you're feeling. Lots of uses for Maelstrom weapon. And then finally, Feral Spirits summons the 2 wolves to attack, and basically they can heal you. They do a lot of damage, and they heal you. Um, and then you can get some Mythic enchants later to buff those. Um, and that is pretty much it for our talents. So basically, the only thing you can swap around is at like 60, I need to drop Earth's Grasp probably, and I would probably put it into Flurry so I can have a little bit more single target threat for the bosses. Like I have trouble with holding threat against Ret Pallies right now, and I'm thinking maybe this could help with that a little bit. And you can also not use enhancing totems till you get Spirit Guard. You could put some of the talents between Wind Fury into Frozen Power. Other than that, you don't really need anything else. Some people use improved shields. It's up to you guys. Instead of like enhancing totems, I find that I have way more benefit out of enhancing totems. The extra damage from lightning shield I don't really care about. Um, so that's my 2 cents. We don't go Storm Strike because we're Lava Lashing or Lava Sweeping. Um, that is no longer needed. We don't use two-handed weapons. Anything else I need to talk about? Static Shock I was kind of interested in, but never got into it, never needed to use it. And Improved Ghost Wolf is good if you're leveling and you want to do BGs, or if you're just questing, put a couple points in that while you're leveling up and you can run around, kill mobs a little bit quicker. So that is it with the tank talents for Shaman. Okay, now we're going to go down each list of a mythic enchant, or mystic enchants. I'm sorry, I've been saying mythic, but it's mystic enchants. We're going to go down each tier list, and I'm going to just tell you if I think they're worth picking up or not. I'll tell you if they're in my current build or not, and yeah, you'll just see. For tank, healing, wave, no, not needed. This is like a 1 out of 5. Probably won't ever use it. Primal Strike, we don't care about the damage there. Earthen Guardian, some people use it. 2% damage doesn't really do it for me. Increased damage on Lightning Shield doesn't do it for me. Glyph of Stoneclaw Totem is a must almost for me. It increases, you end up, every time you put your Stoneclaw Totem down, you get like 1,000 point shield, at least I do at my level. Flame Shock, not necessary. Glyph of Flame Tongue Totem or Weapon, not necessary. Glyph of Fire Nova, some people do use this. It's a personal preference, but you use this in conjunction of some other Fire Nova enchants, and you can get your Fire Nova down to like 2 or 3 seconds. It's a little mana intensive for me and a little overkill. My threat is fine for AoE packs, so I didn't need to cast it anymore, and it only causes problem with my mana. You can mitigate that problem with spamming Water Shield, but don't like doing that. I'm kind of lazy. 6 seconds Fire Nova is good enough for me. Healing Wave, we don't need that. Glyph of Frost Shock, you don't need that. Glyph of Lava Lash, 10% extra damage, not really necessary. Earth Living Weapon, no. Wind Fury Weapon, some people I think use this. I don't use it. Glyph of Chain Lightning, don't use it. Chain Heal, don't use it. Mana Tide, don't use it. Glyph of Shocking, it's like 1 second off your shocks, not necessary. Storm Strike, not necessary, we don't use it. Elemental Mastery, not necessary. Glyph of Lava Burst, we don't use it. Glyph of Thunder, don't use it. Concussion, don't use it. Some people may use this for the wind share reduction if there's, but very rarely. Not ever going to use this. Let's see, reduce the shocks and wind shear spells. Again, don't need it. Earth's Grasp, don't need it. Call Shaman, here we go. I do use this sometimes. I used it a lot leveling up. I've kind of changed it out a little bit. But increase the damage of your fire totems and fire nova by 15%. Is good because it affects both our magma totem and our fire nova. So it's definitely good if you're building around your fire nova. Elemental Focus, I don't see this being used a lot, but I like it. After landing a non-periodic critical strike, which is like our Fire Nova or our Shocks, it procs Clear Casting for 2 spells, and so reduces the mana cost by 40%. So with this, I use less mana, and I like that. I like to just spam, run, drop totems all over, like, without ever worrying about my mana. So I use this currently. Improved Water Shield, you don't use that. Restorative Totems, you don't use that. Reincarnate, don't use. Tidal Focus, don't use. Tidal Mastery, don't use. Totemic Focus, again, I use this only because I'm lazy and don't want to spam Water Shields, or I drop too many totems that I probably don't need to. But if you were really efficient, you don't really need to use this. But both of these talents right here, the Elemental Focus and Totemic, or whatever it is, I can't talk. Anyway, those could be replaced with DPS enchants, like the ones we'll get to, I think, on the next page, that are basically the Fire Nova enchants. Improved Healing Wave, Healing Focus, we don't care about those. Ancestral Healing, we don't care about. Anticipation, we already have. Can't use Flurry, can't use this. Guardian Totems, can't use. Thundering Strikes, Toughness, can't use. Improved Fire Nova, I use this. Increases the damage done by your Fire Nova by 20% and reduces the cooldown by 4 seconds. So this is enough for me, basically, as far as Fire Nova is concerned. It increases the damage by 20, reduces the cooldown down to 6 seconds, which is fine, because I got a lot of other keys I need to be pressing, and basically global cooldowns are the things that get in the way, not the cooldown of Fire Nova. So I would consider, I would pick this up. Ancestral Knowledge, you can't use it at all. Elemental Warding, basically a must-take on tank. You can get away with it as you're leveling, but once you start taking real damage and pulling large amounts of packs, the 6% damage reduction on a blue Mystic enchant is, you have to take it. I have the Storm, don't need that. Elemental weapons, can't use it. Elemental Devastation, you don't need that, don't use it. Healing Grace, you don't use it. Shamanistic Focus, you can't use it. Can't use Improved Shields. Enhancing Totems, don't care about. Elemental Fury. Some people use this actually, and it's just basically another DPS. It increase anytime your Searing Totem or your Magma Totem and your fire damage procs, and it crits. This would increase that crit damage. It's not for me, but it is valid, and some tanks use it. Tidal Force, we don't use that. Glyph of Earthen Shield, we can't use it. Of Wrath, we can't use it. Or I guess we can, but we don't. Elemental, Fire Elemental, we don't use it. We rarely pop Fire Elementals as tanks. Feral Glyph, so this I use once you get level 60 and you have your pets out. This gives them extra attack power based on your attack power. So I use that in conjunction for the epic Mystic enchant we'll talk about later. Riptide, we don't use. Hex and Thunderstorm we don't use. So again, for the rare enchants, I am currently using Glyph of Stoneclaw Totem, Elemental Warding, Elemental Focus, Improved Fire Nova, Totemic Focus, and Glyph of Feral Spirits, and that is that section for Mystic Enchants. Alright, let's talk about the epic Mystic Enchants. So, Ungrounded, very usable. I'm currently using it. I don't know if it's going to stay in the repertoire or not, but basically what it does is it keeps your lightning shield on basically all the time. Anytime you earth shock, it gives you extra lightning shields, and then if you were to use your instant cast chain lightning or lightning bolt, it will give you mana back and increase the damage of that while using Ungrounded. I don't, like I said, I typically use healing for my instant cast spell, but if you're doing damage, this is going to give you mana back and do extra damage with it. The damage from Lightning Shield, I don't know if it's worth it. That's why I'm kind of up in the air. But there's not a ton of great epic Mystic enchants, so I'm using this one. Totem Master Fire, you're definitely not going to use that. Charge Tides, not going to use it. Shock Tactics, some people use this. Just a pure 15% critical strike chance on your shocks. Be super helpful if you're using like on single target bosses for like hoping to get a shock proc or crit for extra threat. Like I said, there's not a ton of heavy epic Mystic enchants for Shaman tank, so this can definitely be tossed in there. Crackling Flames, I've used this for a little bit. It was good. Any shocks reduce the cooldown of your Fire Nova by 1 second. Again, I don't really care how low I can get my Fire Nova. I'm basically limited by some other global cooldowns, and so you could just theoretically just cast Primal Strike and just Fire Nova the crap out of every non-stop for AoE packs. I'm doing some other things typically at the same time, so I don't do that, but this is an option if you want to do that. Increase the damage of your next Fire Nova by 20%. And also, if you're pulling and you get a few shocks off before you're about to Fire Nova, this could get up to 100%, and you just blast them for like 100% bonus damage Fire Nova. It's pretty sick. Elemental Harmony, we won't use. Resurgent Waves, we don't use. Earthen Spike, 100% necessary. Primal Strike no longer costs mana and summons Earthen Spike below the target, dealing high threat, and I repeat, high threat physical damage to nearby enemies and restores 30% of your base mana. Absolutely necessary. It basically keeps us from ever going out of mana, and does large amount of AoE threat to all the mobs you're pulling. Gotta have it. Converging Elements, another one that I have used. Anytime you use Frostbrand or Flame Tongue weapon and it does damage, it increases your next shock by 5%, so up to stacking up to 5 times, which is 25%. And then if you use it with 5 stacks, it reduces the cooldown of your shock. I used it, you know, it is what it is. It's some extra damage on your shock, 25%. You're doing like 100 extra damage on a 550 damage shock. It's good, but you know, there's only so many. You only get 3 epics, and I need some other. I've been trying some other stuff. Frugal Disposition, you're not going to use that. Nature's Flow, you're not going to use. Clear Mind, you're not going to use. Elemental Equilibrium, questionable. I haven't tried it. Um, Probably not great unless you're like flame shocking, uh, fire shocking, whatever that spell is called, to increase your Nova damage. But again, I'm not trying to pump damage that much. Hydromancer's Water Nova. I haven't tried this. I don't know. It kind of looks good, but I don't know where I. Next time I mix something up, I may drop Ungrounded and try Hydromancer's Water Nova, just to see how much damage it does. Because basically, what it does is you Frost Shock, and then it drops a AOE pool. I don't know how big it is, and but it does 170 damage to nearby enemies over time. And then if you were to use your instant cast spells like Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt, when you have 5 stacks, it would do extra damage there too. So I don't know. It could be a good AOE threat. Uh, Mystic Enchant. Have not used it. Have not needed to use it, but it could be cool. You might want to check it out. Tides of Restoration. You're not using that. Law of Ignition. You are not using that. Healing Tide. Not using. Elemental Momentum. Not using. Electric Surge. No go. Stormborn. Uh, I don't think so. Dealing damage with Storm Strike. Oh, we don't do that. So anyway. Tethered Power, we don't use. Fury of the Wind, some people use this if they like using Wind Fury weapon. Some people like it on single targets. I don't really swap it out, but I have seen people use this and post this, so it's viable if that's your thing. Lightning Strikes twice, we don't use. Fork Lightning, we don't use. Zephyr, Wind Fury hits, damage targets. Again, if you're using Wind Fury, maybe this is something you could use, but unlikely. Shaman's Grace, no. Defense of the Thunderian, optional, or it's probably good if you use Wind Fury Totem, or Wind Fury weapon, but I do not. So I don't use this, but I know a lot of people, this is like, some people really go by this. Ascending Flames, not for me. Cataclysmic Sundering, we don't use that. Elemental Blast, we don't care about that. Master of Lightning, no. Primordial Aftershocks, no. Hydromancer Conductor. I think I thought about this for a second, and then it was a no. Dynamic Charge, no. Molten Outburst, no. Lava Burn, no. Mastery of Tide, no. Low Tide, no. Pack Alpha, this is good if you want to focus around your pets. And you got the rare one, the rare Glyph of Feral Spirits as well. This basically takes a 3-minute cooldown, and under best case scenario, if you can spam your lava sweep, this brings the cooldown down to like 1 minute 45 seconds. And under like practical use from what I've seen, because sometimes you're going to miss a second or two from your global cooldowns and stuff like that, it brings it down to like a minute 55 seconds. So basically this drops your cooldown of Pack Alpha by about a minute or so, maybe slightly more. So I use it for now. I may change it up. Primal Tide, you don't need any of these other ones. Leader of the Elements, Lightning Fangs, we don't use. And that is it for the epic Mystic Enchants. let's talk about the legendary Mystic Enchants. There's basically one answer here, maybe two, and very possibly three at the most we would ever use. It's not going to be Elemental Mastery, Restoration Mastery. I'm just scrolling over these so you can kind of see what they do. You can pause it at any time, check it out. Earthen Guardian Mastery may, very maybe, if your threat is awful and you really want to beat you're having problems keeping threat over like a red pally or something like that, you may want to toss this on a boss pool or something. Um, but yeah, not needed regularly. Tether Elemental, no. Flame Ascendance, no. Cloudburst Totem, no. Healing Ray, no. Lava Sweep. This is what turns your lava. I'm sorry. What is it? What is it called? Oh no. Oh no. Your lava lash. Yeah, your lava lash into lava sweep, and it is necessary for AOE pools. Um, It does 100% main weapon damage, is fire damage to your main target. It increases if you use Flame Tongue Totem, and it increases if you use a one-handed weapon, which we're using. We're using one-handed and shield, so you get 150% main hand weapon damage to your target, plus some damage to all targets around it. It's huge AoE damage in general. Booming Thunder we wouldn't use. Eccentric Elementalist we wouldn't use, but I'm interested in exactly how that works. Transcendental Embrace, no go. Waterbolt, no go. Windlash, I think I've seen some people use this, but I've never. No, 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 not this one. I'm sorry. Stormbound Instinct is what the third one may be. This is all shocks deal bonus threat, generate a stack of our instant cast Maelstrom weapon, and increases your chance to dodge the next attack. In addition, Primal Strike, Lightning Strike, blah blah blah, makes your next shock spell trigger no cooldown. Basically, this allows you to spam shocks, which is probably better for single target damage boss kills, but not good for like trying to clear dungeons really fast. I use Lava Sweep a lot, so it's my go-to. But there's uh, definitely some use cases, especially on boss kills for Stormbound Instinct. And that is it. Oh, let's just scroll down. Air Ascendance, no. Mending Tide, no. And Spreading Tides, no. That is it for the legendary Mystic Enchants. And lastly, Mystic Enchants. We got our Artifact Enchants. There's basically only two that we would use as tank, and that is Sundering and Astral Plane. I use Astral Plane. It basically reduces the damage taken by 30% for 15 seconds. And slowly dissipates. It's another cooldown, just like Shamanistic Rage. I use it all the time. And then alternatively, you can go Sundering, which shatters a line of earth in front of you, causing fire damage and incapacitating enemies hit for 3 seconds. If you're doing a massive pull and you're about to, like before the healer can catch up and heal or something like that, you need to drop a AoE incapacitate to save your life. It's on a 35-second cooldown. Some people use this. It's not for me. I like the 2-minute cooldown that I know that's going to reduce all damage. The other ones are Windwalk Totem, Capacitor Totem, Earthquake, and Spirit Walker's Grace. I don't think any of those are usable currently for tank, but you could maybe argue like Earthquake and some other ones. But basically, Astral Plane it is for me. And that is it for the Artifact Mystic Enchants. And let's look at my gear. All my gear is basically obtained in heroic dungeons. One thing I would note is as you're leveling up, I would probably save a good majority of your dungeon spoils unless you really need them because you're falling behind. Gear wise, I would save them to level 60, open them all up, and then you'll get level 65 item level blue gear, which is great because then you can open up your call board quest rewards, and they will give you the epic items from that if your item level I don't know, probably like 55 plus or something like that, as long as your total item level is. If you don't know what your item level is, basically when you open a call board crate, it looks at your item level and it gives you items based on that. So if your item level is low, it's going to give you low item level stuff. If your item level is high, it's going to give you the good stuff. So if you open up all your blue dungeon spoils at 60, you're going to have a high item level, and anytime you open up after that, you open up your call board crates, it will give you epic gear, which is what we want. And to be honest, at level 65, item level, the blue gear is almost just as good as uh, the epic items. It's like one agility, one stamina less on all the pieces. But anyway, let's look. Beastmaster cap. I'll probably change this. I may keep this. I don't know. I'm thinking about putting tenacity on the helm instead, but right now this is good. I don't have a perfect set, by the way, but I do have a pretty decent set going on. Important things to note here. We want agility, stamina, intellect, hit, expertise, um, attack power, and then if there's anything extra, then it's like spell power, right? So I like to stack agility, but I also don't want to die. So I need stamina and I need some defenses. Agility gives us um, the block chance. You can see here with no completely unbuffed, I'm 50% block chance, 21% dodge, 6.48% parry. If I cast my Strength of Earth Totem, that puts me at 68% block chance, 24% dodge. That's what, 92, 92.5 plus 6.48. I know it does, by the way, before the comments happen, I know it doesn't work like this, but I'm just like adding it up in my head. And then like 99%, evasion of some sort, dodge, parry, block. That's not how it actually works in WoW, but you know, it's a good gauge. If you're starting out and you don't have that spirit guard yet, your blocks can be like 5%. So then once you stack agility, it's gonna go up. So here's my gear: Tempest, Talisman, uh, Pauldrons of Tenacity is the tank chain set. Um, you really need to get the 3-set bonus. That's really the only like real requirement for your set, is to get the 3-set tenacity bonus, because hitting enemies target for the first time, doesn't matter if they're in combat or not, but hitting him for the first time increases a massive spike in threat and reduces his damage done by 15%. So anytime you're pulling or you have pulled and you hit it, it does a massive threat, so nobody's going to pull off you really quickly, and it also reduces the damage that they do for a second while you're getting all those mobs in position. So 3-set bonus for tenacity, really important. Other than that, you don't really need set bonuses. Some people say you want the 3-set bonus for beast stalkers. I don't think it's completely necessary, but basically what if you do get that, which I'm tempted to, because you can increase your agility and your hit rating a little bit and your attack power a little bit. Um, but anyway, the 3-set bonus for it is damaging melees and ranged abilities have a chance to unleash mythical throw, dealing physical damage to all enemies in combat. So everything around you takes some sort of damage. So more AoE threat, more AoE damage. It's possible that I could use that instead. I'm going to just kind of scroll down, more tenacity, risk guards of tenacity. Weapon-wise, I use Iron Foe, important. I find it good to use a slow weapon. So 2.7 is a good slow weapon. Um, because your flame tongue weapon scales off that. So the slower the weapon, the more damage you're going to get from your flame tongue weapon. And flame tongue, it's just going to do more damage overall to all your targets. Um, so I like a really good slow weapon. I use Iron Foe because it gives the 2 attacks on your next swing proc, which is nice on single target bosses, which is really your only like kind of, if you have a flaw, it is that one. but it's really only that one against Ret Pallies, and I think Ret Pallies' threat is broken right now. Um, Red Pallies are doing like double the threat of any other DPS while doing the same actual DPS. Like they could do 100,000 damage and a hunter do 100,000 damage, and then the paladin's threat is like double the hunters, right? And then it's just weird. And sometimes they take aggro on bosses and they die. So there's really nothing you can do about that. They either are gonna watch their threat or they're gonna die. And I'm not saying I'm a great tank, but I would say I'm better than the average uh, paladin DPS, and even the average paladin DPS Red Pally can pull aggro on any given boss if they really want to. It's nutty their threat. Crest of Retribution, I kind of like this as a shield, especially for AoE tanking, because it does damage every time I block. Important uh, stat here is shield block rating. Okay, so you see increases your shield block rating. That is big when it comes to your block chance. There's a lot of block value, a block chance, whatever it is. All of those are secondary, but if you see in shield block rating is really important, and that will really increase your block chance over a shield that doesn't have that. So this one has 51 block, high armor, stamina, and the shield block rating, which is the main reason I'm using this. I think out of all the heroic shields, this one gives me the highest block chance overall, and the bonus damage from blocking is just bonus for the weapon. So I use it for the block chance. Gordek Ritual Totem, it's stamina, defense, and shield block rating. You see that? Anytime you see block rating on a piece of gear, it's huge. Leveling up, even huger. You want shield block rating, if possible. I think these gloves are insane. 28 stamina, or 28 agility. It gives you like, I don't know, I think it gives me like, by itself, like 8% block chance. Let's see, I'm at 50. If I take these off, I'm at 43. So it gives me like 7% block chance by itself on these gloves. And hit rating, they're a good piece if you don't need the hand slot for your set bonus. I kind of like these. I'm a big fan. Tenacity, tenacity, tenacity. This one, when struck in combat, inflicts 20 arcane damage to the attacker. Again, you got stamina, armor, and does AoE damage for big pools in your heroic dungeons. Band of Flesh, same thing. You got your major stats, agility, strength, and a defense rating. Here's where I'm questionable. I don't like this necessarily. I kind of needed the hit rating. I need more hit rating still, I think. I don't know where the sweet spot is. There's going to be some min-max shamans out there that'll tell you the exact hit rating you need. Get as much as you can while not dying is basically my advice. But when people get a little bit more experience, I don't know the sweet spot for hit rating yet, but it's a good amount. So right now I'm using Smoldering Eye. I don't really use the use on it ever, but it's hit rating and crit strike. I'm gonna replace this eventually with the one, I can't remember the name of the relic, but it gives 25 stamina and gives like a 1 minute use with like 1250 armor and does some AoE damage or something like that. I think I'm going to use that, but I don't have enough currency to buy that yet, and I haven't gotten it as a drop, but that'll probably be the swap out. And then Vigilance Charm, it's just a straight dodge rating and PvE power. I'll probably switch this out too for something, I don't know what yet. We'll see. The other thing is that like once you get 60, you get access to PvE power, and so you can see here mine's 495. I think that's currently the max. Maybe 500 is, but you can see that I have 25% reduced damage from creatures, and I do 24% more damage, and have like 9% extra absorption. So that's important, but that's basically just by default on all the pieces of gear that we get from dungeons. And that is my gear. It's not perfect. I'm not a min-maxer yet right now. I'm kind of relatively new to, well, everybody's new to Shaman tank here on Bronzebeard, but I think we're all kind of like learning and feeling it out. So right now, this is the gear I run. I've run over 100 heroics. I don't really die unless something catastrophic happens. Can tank all the bosses fine, can pull multiple packs fine. The only thing that I ever have an issue with is Red Pally Threat, and I think they're broken. That's just my take. Um, yeah, so that's the end of the gear section. All right, let's talk about totems. Basically, let's talk about the strength totems first, or earth totems first. Once you get Spirit Guard, my main totem that I use is Strength of the Earth because it gives us bonus agility and strength. Agility increases our block chance, it increases our attack power, it gives us everything that we want. So Strength of Earth is super important. Before you get to that level, you're going to always be using Stone Skin and Stone Claw. I still use Stone Claw, of course, right now as a cooldown for needing absorption. So if I need to hit an O-crap, a temporary O-crap button, sometimes when right before I'm going to pull, I put my shield up. So anytime I drop Stoneclaw Totem, it gives me like 1,000, 1,200 damage, a shield to use, and reduces the damage I take by 20%. So if you're in a no shit moment, you pop it, get a shield, reduce your damage taken, and then immediately you would put Strength of Earth Totem back up so you have your increased block chance again. So you would drop Stoneclaw Totem and then immediately put up Strength of Earth Totem. Before level 35 or whatever that is that you can get the Spirit Guard, you will probably be using Stone Skin Totem and Stoneclaw Totem, so use it the same way, just it increases your armor instead, reduces your damage. Of course, you're going when you're pulling. I typically like to like shock some mobs, hit them, drop an Earthbind Totem, and then keep running to the next pack so they're not hitting you from behind where you can't block, and you're just cruising. Um, One thing to note: make sure you're hitting the mobs and you're not just letting them aggro you, because as soon as a priest renews you or a druid, gives you hot, they're gonna pull and you're just gonna kill your healer if you don't pay attention. Fire totems. Basically, for AoE packs, you're using Magma Totem. For single target, you may use Searing Totem, and then it lasts longer. So on single targets, I like to have Searing Totem up so I don't have to keep constantly recasting Magma Totem. And then you can drop Fire Elemental Totem. I don't really ever use it because I'm using my other pets and stuff like that, Feral Spirits. That's pretty much it. For the water totems, you're going to either be using Mana Spring or Healing. I think there may still be a bug where Mana Spring was overriding the Paladin Wisdom buffs. So I'm not sure if you have a Paladin in your group, you may want to take that. So basically, I've just been, if there's no Paladin in the group, I use Mana Spring Totem. If there is a Paladin in the group, I use Healing Spring. But a lot of people will just keep Mana Spring up and say forget about it. Of course, you can use Cleansing Totem if you want to, if you're in like Strat or Skola. And then finally, Air Totem. You're going to be using Wind Fury Totem. That's pretty much it. Wrath of your Grounding Totem sometimes, but rarely. I don't use Wrath of Air myself. I guess if I was in a caster heavy group, you could. But I like Wind Fury Totem for myself. It gives myself threat and increases the damage of all my melee boys. And that is it for totems.